Testing, testing. You can hear me now? Awesome. All right. It's a good thing that we have early check-in at 8:30. Come on in, everybody. Sorry about that and the inconvenience. We are rocking and rolling. Boy, the call tonight is going to be different in a big way. We got a big surprise coming for you all. Hold tight. I have to get everything reset back again. Hold tight. King of Sag just said, booyah! Alright. Okay. Gotta get everything set up. I'll be right back. Y'all just show some love to each other while I get everything ready. Alright. Appreciate y'all helping me out. Figuring it out. Okay. I'm just getting everything set up for you beautiful people. From Spain, I see you, Salty Maverick. All right, beautiful people. Come on in. It's good to see you all. It's amazing. It's as if there was some sort of attempt for us not to get this party started tonight and get this kicked off for some reason. Nonetheless, God prevailed. Thank you, Salty Mav. Appreciate you so much. All right, in 10 minutes at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will get the call kicked off. Come on in. Hello to you, Paul Webb. Okay, Kylie, we see you. Cameron. New babies. I remember you. South Kakalaki. Hey, country chick. Come on. Come on in. Ah, not about the nail. Thank you so much, my good man. Howdy, Florida. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad you can hear me now. All right, David Durham, Grease Monkey. My man, Spark Plug. Good to see you, Spark Plug. Praying Nation, I love your name. All I'm going to tell you, folks, is I hope that you came prepared tonight. The surprise is going to be something that's going to be very exciting for you all. I'm excited. I mean, whew. So excited, I can't wait. Come on in. There's going to be some things tonight. Thank you, new babies. Understanding yourself, welcome. There's going to be some things tonight, folks, that's going to be the first time you've heard it. Not today, Sid, you got that right. Ah, yes. Thank you, beloved. Woo. Come on in, beautiful folks. We'll be right. 5 minutes, we'll get started. I'll be right back. Come on in. This call tonight, from this call moving forward, it's going to be another level for you all. I believe tonight there's going to be a lot of light bulbs that are going to go off. A lot of peace that's going to come to many of you tonight in your investment. Good question. It does. No, it doesn't interfere, but it sort of does. Joel 81:46. It's best to wait until after the call to go into the Telegram room. But if you have a question, we can answer it for you right here. Okay. I see Omar Rosario. I see you retracted your message, but I see you from the NY. I'm not sure if you wanted everybody to know because you retracted it. About 5 minutes, we'll officially go live. 9:05 will be on point, on our square. Folks, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing. I want to re-emphasize this again. This call tonight is going to be next level. Next level. And we love you as well. And we love you as well. Muato. Nothing but love. Thank you so much, Sean. We appreciate you helping the community and helping to get the word out. We appreciate you. How long have you been with us? Telegram room will be posted at the end of the call, I should say. Salty Mavic, at the end of the call. The Telegram room, the link will be posted. Yes, 5 minutes. Is Lady Unique here? Miss Receiptsa? Wow, 14. You're about the same amount of time. 14 years, yes. What? 5? What? Oh, man. Y'all see what New Babies typed into the chat? 5 meetings with private wealth managers and have 3 secured. Uh-oh, New Babies. We want to get you live on the call, and we got to get an update from you. Everyone give New Baby, show New Baby some love. Congratulations. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Congratulations, New Baby. Wow. Fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. We need to get that update and also help you however we can, New Babies, to help you moving forward in any way, shape, or form. Went back and read it. Oh, okay. I see what happened, new babies. You kind of snafus. You made some mistakes at first. You had to go back and clean it up, it sounds like. Yeah, a lot of people had to do that. Now you're on track. Awesome. Congratulations. All right, folks, it's 9 o'clock. Saturday Night Dialogues. We are here live March 14th, 2026. We've had the last 30 minutes of early check-in. Had some technical difficulties, but the beautiful members in the room, the chat, helped get me together. I think I know why I had those snafu technical difficulties. But in 5 minutes, we're going to officially kick this call off. I'm so glad we had our early check-in and we had to get the audio right. This call is, I'm telling you folks, it's going to be a game changer. It's going to be a game changer. I hope you all are comfortable sitting somewhere. It's going to be a lot of information tonight. This might be the longest call we ever have. Not had, but ever will have. But it's necessary. You'll see. But you might be on the edge of your seats the whole night. Come on in, beautiful folks. May Mama's here? All right, May Mama, I missed you. Yeah, let's go. So good to have all of you here tonight. Yeah, get your snap going, Hollis. And Hollis, you have a update as well with you've had contact with your private wealth manager. Maybe we'll have you and new babies on and share your update on the next live. Blessed one, the blessed one is here. All right, X-Team 6999, ready. I love it, ready. You know what, chat? If you're ready for some amazing receipts, details, information on this investment, type ready into the chat. Type ready. Thanks for coming on in with that ready, X-Team. Ready. Is Lady Unique here? That's I'm not sure. I asked if she was here. I didn't see her. Hey, Peterbilt. I recognize your name, Peterbilt, from Twitter. Welcome. Garlic string bean. Now we can get the party started. Love it. Love it. Okay, thank you, Alice. Beck's grandma, man, Beck's I miss your gifts. I miss your love, your energy. Yes, it's coming. Ramon Davis, it's coming tonight. The receipts are coming. Ty Too Pretty, let's go. Oh, Millie Cat, I see you. David Durham, effing ready. Come on in, folks. We got 2 more minutes. And we're gonna get rocking. Just want to give time for everyone to get settled in. Debo! Oh, wow, 2 a.m. in Spain. I see you. Okay, I see you. I see you, Charles. You had to switch it up. Okay. Different name? Same name. All right. When the music stops, we're going to get going. We're almost there, beautiful folks. We got about 1 more minute. Thank you so much, Sparkplug. Yes, please like, share, subscribe. Folks, you're going to want to share a lot of what you're going to see tonight. All right, beautiful folks. we are going to get this call started. Let's start out with some prayer and get going. Father God, we thank you for allowing us to be here one more time as a family, as a community. We thank you for being able to bless us, to be a part of this blessing. We thank you for allowing us to be a blessing to someone else. If there's anything, Father God, within our words and our minds and our hearts that is not of you, I ask that you guide us in the right direction. I ask that you guide our words, our minds, our hearts, and we ask that you continue to give us your mercy and your grace. In your precious name we pray. Amen, amen, amen. All right, quick folks. Tonight we are going to go into detail about this week, literally this week. Iraq made a public statement about the dinar. And most people, I truly believe, missed it. Goldilocks shared it. We're going to go into those details and then some tonight. Also, we're going to touch on Vietnam, where Goldilocks shared. And Goldilocks said specifically about Vietnam and show the reason why, that it's not a matter of if, but when the dong changes in value. We're also going to go into the details that Goldilocks shared this week about Basel III and global gold as well. And it's all connected. You're going to see tonight that everything that is happening right now in the global financial system, geopolitics, it's all connected. As I always say, everything is connected to everything, but we are going to show you tonight how it's all connected. We're going to show you how Iraq has actually been moving forward with a plan towards revaluing the Iraqi dinar, Vietnam, and the other countries and their currencies around the world. We're going to show you tonight. All right, real quick announcements. The Goldilocks QF Dialogues room, for those that you know have been asking, the Telegram room, it's a read-only room. We will share that link at the end of the call. Of course, we have Goldilocks Global Banking News, which is your live podcast where we bring forth to you Goldilocks' daily articles. We bring it to you in audio form via podcast on YouTube right here. Over 22,000 subscribers, over 84 countries are now tapped in, over 2.6 million views, and climbing. And that is a testament to many of you, excuse me, who are a part of this journey. If anyone wants to help the community, you are more than welcome, and you can hit on super chat and support the community, get the word out. And I have to do something real quick with my young lady, Peculiar Ram. Okay, Peculiar Ram. Peculiar Ram just sent me a message that she can't hear me. Give me a few seconds. Okay, hold tight, folks. I just got a message that can you all hear me? Let me see. All right. Oh, thank you, Alice, for posting that. Yes, indeed. Okay. 1 second, beautiful folks. I got to make sure that I'm locked in with Peculiar Ram. Okay. Okay, hold tight, folks. Okay, you can hear me just fine. All right, excellent, 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 excellent. All right, beautiful folks. Thank you so much, She-Hulk. Well, I tell you, we have the most amazing, amazing tribe. When things get kind of funky, like a monkey, the tribe just jumps right in and gets it right. All right, I have to make sure that we are good to go. Hold tight, folks. Okay, this is what we're going to have to do. She-Hulk, if you can drop all of the articles in order into the big Telegram room, please do that. Because, and folks, stay in YouTube. Don't go to Telegram. I'm only doing this because I'm not able to get into the separate Telegram room that I created so that I can read the articles. So, She-Hulk, if you can drop all the articles because I can't see them I can't see all the articles. If you can drop them in order into the big Telegram room, the main one, I'll be able to see it. For some reason, I'm not able to see in the separate room. So what we're going to do, okay, let me try this, okay. Can you hear me now, Ram? Perfect. All right, we're good. All right, we're good. All right, beautiful folks, let's go. We go. She-Hulk, I don't need you to drop them in. I got it. This is perfect. This will be fine the way we got it right now. All right, cool. Here we go. All right, folks. Since we had some technical difficulties, what we're going to do, we're going to go right into what we need to do. All right. I need y'all to tell me. I'm going to drop this in here. We're going to have to do this a different way. There we go. Now, we're going to do this a different way. All right. Tell me if y'all can see my screen. If you see my screen, Peculiar Ram, can you see my screen?
I'm just in Telegram.
Oh, okay.
So that way,
don't worry.
I don't get any feedback from YouTube. So
yep.
Yeah, I have to do one at a time.
Thank you, beloved. All right. Yep, they can see it. All right, cool. Now, so folks, this is the big surprise. Tonight, we are going to show you not just articles. We're going to show you sources. We're going to go to the receipts, actual receipts. All right, and we're going to go direct to the CBI tonight, live. We're going to go direct to the IMF tonight, live. We're going to go to the U.S. Treasury, the World Bank, the Bank of International Settlements tonight, live, right in front of you. You will be able to take screenshots. If you're listening to this in replay, you'll be able to pause. You'll be able to pause and take screenshots of the CBI and what they stated about the dinar, not just tonight, but what we're going to show you from before. You'll be able to see what the U.S. Treasury stated. You'll be able to see what the World Bank, the BIS, the IMF, Goldilocks has been sharing all of this. And we're going to show it to you on your screen. Now. This is something that it may be new to some of you tonight, where you're going to see the actual sources and receipts. For those that have been following Goldilocks, and we've been in the tribe, you've been here for about last year and a half or so, you're used to seeing receipts. But tonight, our third live, we're going to show it to you direct. Now, this is what we're going to start with. This is, before I state this, I want to say something real quick. And think of it like this. And I want you all to pay attention, so I'm going to block my screen because I want you to focus on what I'm saying. Think of this, and this is an analogy I want to use because it's very important for you all to understand. Think of when you go to the doctor, and when you go to the doctor, the first thing they do is pull up your medical records, your medical history. They don't just look at how you feel today. They look at your blood work from last year, your test from 6 months ago, your prior diagnosis, your medications, your patterns over time. Why? Because the history explains the condition of the patient today. Without the history, the doctor wouldn't have any idea what they're looking at. The same thing applies to understanding Iraq. Iraq's economic and monetary reforms. When we show you articles from 2024, 2025, or earlier, some people may say that's old news. But that's like telling a doctor, don't look at my medical records, just tell me what's wrong today. That's not how diagnosis works, folks. To understand where Iraq's economy is today, you have to look at their entire medical record of their reforms. Banking reforms, financial system restructuring, the dinar's stability policies, their international integration, and not just Iraq, Vietnam and the rest of the countries as well. Goldilocks has been sharing the medical past. Those steps might be overlooking when people understand Iraq. But you gotta understand, they're a part of a multi-year economic diagnosis and treatment plan, if you will. So when we look at prior reports from the IMF that Goldilocks has been sharing, the CBI, the U.S. Treasury, the BIS, the World Bank, we're not looking at old news. We're looking at the medical chart of Iraq's financial system. And what that chart tells us, folks, is exactly where they are today. If you ignore the history, you misdiagnose the present, if you think about it. History isn't old news. It's the medical chart of the financial system in Iraq and other places. This is what you must understand. I know for those of you who are here, this is not how you think. This is not your mindset. I'm just saying, you got to think about what we're going to show you is the medical past, the medical history, so you understand where Iraq is right now. Tonight is going to be a recap for those that were on the call last week, because we had to go back. We didn't have the screen share that we have now. So some of what you heard last Saturday, we're going to show it to you now in black and white, directly from the CBI, directly from the U.S. Treasury. Then we're going to show you this week what the CBI stated about Iraq and the Dinar, and it's going to connect to their medical history so that you get a better understanding of the diagnosis, so you understand better where you are and where we all are in this investment. Now, let's go to where it all starts. This, again, we got to look back in the medical records, the medical history. This is from the Political article. Quote, currency revaluation. Now, some of you, this is the first time you're seeing this. This is from Politico, nationally recognized, internationally recognized media outlet. Currency revaluation is likely to be a priority for some members of a potential second Trump administration, mainly because of a viewpoint that the overvalued dollar contributes to the trade deficit. Now, folks, this is from April of 2024. President Trump wasn't reelected until November 2024. We're looking back in the medical history, the medical past. There are a few, this is going to be like a class tonight, folks, and I want some class participation. There's going to be certain key words that I'm going to ask you to type in the room, because it's going to make sense. It's going to make more sense to you about Iraq and the revaluation of the dinar. A lot is going to start connecting for you all tonight. Now, let's go to the second paragraph. It talks about the first paragraph from the Trump administration about currency revaluation, the trade deficit, the overvalued dollar. Let's go to the second paragraph. And it states, but weakening the dollar could have far-reaching consequences, from sending consumer prices for imported products soaring to inviting retaliation from other countries and threatening the dollar's role as the world's reserve currency, which would undermine U.S. sanctions on adversaries like Iran and Russia. Folks, type into the chat, what country are we at war with right now? What country? Is it Iran? See, we've shared this screenshot before in our Telegram room for almost a good 6-7 months. We shared this on the first live and the second live last Saturday. But I purposely didn't read down to the end of what the Trump administration said. Currency revaluation is likely to be a priority of the potential second Trump administration due to the trade deficit, but weakening the dollar would have far-reaching consequences, which would undermine U.S. sanctions on adversaries like Iran. Remember, this is April of 2024. Iran is going to come up a lot tonight, folks, and it's going to make sense of what Iraq is doing to prepare for the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. Now, let's get to what's next. I'm going to have to do this a little different because my computer technology here is acting a little funky like a monkey. So we're going to have to do this a little different. Hold tight. I'm going to have to pull the next one. We're going to drop this next one in here for you all, which is going to be a recap of what we shared last Saturday. And we're going to have to do it like this. We're going to improvise. But we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work. All right, here we go. Now, I'm going to open this article up. I'm going to open this up and share it with you all. We're going to go right into this article right here together. Last Saturday, we read this. This is from 2020. We're going back to the medical because I may read a little fast, but it's intentional. You may have to speed up your listening. But I'm going to recap what we shared last week so you can see it in writing, beautiful people. This is from 2023. We're going back in Iraq's medical history. Baghdad. For the months, the United States has restricted Iraq's access to its own dollars, trying to stamp out what Iraq officials describe as rampant money laundering that benefits Iran and Syria. Iraq is now feeling the crunch with a drop in the value of the dinar, its currency, and public anger blowing back against the prime minister. The exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar has jumped to around 1750. Remember, this is in 2023. Let's go down to the next sentence. In Baghdad, exchange houses were closed on Thursday while the Kurdistan region government banned exchange companies in Sulaymaniyah from making transfers. Exchange houses, yes, exchange houses in the streets of Iraq. Right here, the dinar's deterioration comes even though Iraq's foreign currency reserves are at an all-time high of around $100 billion pumped by the spiking global oil prices that have brought increasing revenues to the petroleum-rich nation. But accessing that money is a different story. Since the 2003 invasion, Iraq's foreign currency reserves have been housed at the Federal Reserve, giving the Americans significant control over Iraq's dollar supply. Now, I'm going to pause here. When I think of this $100 billion and their foreign reserves, I think of a young lady in the Telegram room from about 7-8 months ago who asked about Iraq's foreign reserves. And she wanted to know how was it that Iraq would be able to afford to pay out all of this money to all these folks having the dinar with only $100 billion in their reserves. And I had to explain to the young lady something that I'm going to show you here in a little bit, folks. The $100 billion of Iraq having in US dollars and almost the equivalent in Iraqi dinar, that's only a percentage of their reserves. You're going to see here in a little bit what I mean. I want someone to type into the chat, someone, type foreign reserves in the chat because it's going to come up again. Foreign currency reserves. It's going to come up again to what Iraq talked about this week, and it's related to the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. But I'm going to explain to you about Iraq's reserves, like I explained to the young lady. The Iraqi dinar is not the only currency in their reserves. The US dollar is not Iraq's only currency in their reserves. So whether Iraq has 100 billion in USD or 100 billion and or also 100 billion in the Iraqi dinar, that's irrelevant to the overall reserves that they have, and we're going to show it to you tonight in black and white directly from the Central Bank of Iraq. I'm not going to tell you the details yet till we get there, because when we get there and you see it, it's going to make sense to all of you. Now, we're going to scroll down real quick. I'm going to go through this fast because this is just really a recap from last week. In the past, daily sales through auctions, I want someone to type auction. It's going to come up again. Often exceeded $200 million per day. Ostensibly, the vast majority of the dollars sold in the auction are meant to go to purchase goods imported by Iraqi companies. U.S. officials confirmed to AP that they suspect the system was used for money laundering, but declined to comment in detail on the allegations. Let's get down to where it says in other cases. In other cases, the currency smuggled across land borders under the protection of armed groups that take out of the cash. So what they were doing, it's the Iranian militias that get money from US dollars by smuggling from Iraq to Iran, and the armed militias take a cut. Here we go again. A member of one of Iraq's Iran-backed militias who spoke on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to speak publicly on the subject said the majority of Iraqi banks are owned indirectly by politicians and political parties that have also used the dollar auction to their benefit. Late last year, this is 2023, we're looking in Iraq's medical records. Then we're going to look at from 2023 to this week how they have healed through reforms. Among other steps, at the request of the U.S., the Central Bank of Iraq started using an electronic system for transfers that required entering detailed information on the intended end recipient of the requested dollars. What this means, folks, is that Iraq, in order for them to access their U.S. dollars that are for their reserves through the Fed, they had to update their financial system, their electronic system, to a new electronic system because they were doing everything they can to modernize their banking system to get around and to bypass the influence of Iran in Iraq. Who are we at war with right now? Iran. Currency revaluation is likely to be priority of the second Trump administration, but he knew that Iran was going to have a problem with his currency revaluation policies. Let's continue. Down to the system. The system started rejecting transfers and invoices that were used to approve by the central bank. Around 80% of transactions were being rejected. Why? Because 80% of the transactions when they opened the new electronic system in 2023 was full of money laundering and terrorist activities. The new electronic system that they connected to was all intended to bypass Iran, because on the streets, exchange houses, corners, shops, all over Iraq, Iranian militias were running the economy in Iraq and controlling the US dollar and the dinar. This is their medical past. This is their medical history. Let's skip down to where it says the new U.S. restrictions come at a time of increased tensions between the U.S. and Iran. Folks, this is in 2023. You don't think they were preparing? The U.S. was preparing for this, where we're at now with war with Iran? Negotiations over a nuclear deal are floundering. Washington has imposed new sanctions and condemned Iran for cracking down on protesters and providing drones for Russia to use in Ukraine. Also in Iraq, allegations came to light in October 2023 that over $2.5 billion in Iraqi government revenue was embezzled by a network of businesses and officials from the country's tax authority. The case brought U.S. attention to the scale of corruption in Iraq and how the corruption can benefit Iran. Who are we at war with right now? Iran. Currency revaluation, President Trump stated he knew that Iran was going to have an issue with it. Let's continue. Let's go down. The new Iraqi prime minister, because this is when the prime minister came in, 2023, who came to power via a coalition of Iranian-backed parties. Al-Sudani has downplayed the current devaluation of the dinar and a temporary issue of trading and speculation. This should give you a little idea of what they were dealing with Iran. I'm going to get to the next one for you. So it's going to all start making sense to you. Now, we're going to go directly to the CBI. We are going to go direct to the amazing CBI. Now, we're going to look in their medical history. See, we don't have no problem showing dates of the past or the present. For those that see this date, August the 3rd of 2024, type into the chat, August 2024. We're going to put it out there and show you. We're going to go back into the medical history of Iraq and the dinar and then come right up to 2026, just 3 days ago, and see what the CBI stated. But this is a recap, folks, from last Saturday because we didn't have the screen share. We got it now. The Central Bank of Iraq announced the results of the delegation headed by His Excellency the Governor of the Central Bank of Iraq to the United States, which lasted from August the 26th through the 29th. The Central Bank of Iraq confirmed that a high-level negotiating team, and this is important, headed by the Central Bank of Iraq Governor, conducted a series of intensive meetings in New York, which included discussions with the U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve, in addition to meetings with a group of companies, Visa, MasterCard, MoneyGram, as well as banks, Citibank and JP Morgan, and international auditing firms, KPMG, EY, E&Y is Ernst & Young, KTI, and Oliver Wyman. I want some participation right now real quick. In the chat, what I would like for y'all to do, because I know y'all know, is because Oliver Wyman, type this into the chat. It's going to come up again. But I have a quick question for, yes, foreign reserves is coming up too. Oliver Wyman, folks. Is Oliver Wyman a person or a company? You all know who's been following Goldilocks for the last several years, and Goldilocks has shared this. Is Oliver Wyman a person or a company? I know you all know the answer. Yes, yes, Tattoo Pretty knows for sure. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It's going to come back up from this week. Their importance. Oliver Wyman Company, folks, is the actual company that is helping Iraq to gain accession into the World Trade Organization. And here we are, August 2024 is when they began to work with Iraq on their reforms. Now, let's go. He added that the participants in this meeting praised the great transformations achieved by the CBI, which represent an unprecedented achievement at the national level, as the bank has made remarkable progress in the procedures for monitoring foreign transfers. Folks, this is going to come up again. Foreign transfers is going to come up from this week from the CBI. Don't forget, this is the source. You are looking at the source, the CBI, directly. You can look right at it. They made remarkable progress in the procedures for monitoring foreign transfers and cash sales of the U.S. dollar, which has led to improvement of systems, policies, and procedures in accordance with international and local standards, enhancing transparency and covering foreign trade. Foreign trade is going to come up again too. I see you, Nova Knickers, our funny farmer. Absolutely, foreign transfers. Foreign trade, foreign transfers, and providing protection for the banking and financial sector from the risks of money laundering, terrorist financing, and financial crimes. This is August of 2024, where the CBI is working with the Oliver Wyman Company, MoneyGram, MasterCard, Citibank, JP Morgan. These are international firms, the U.S. Treasury. Folks, they're preparing to get around Iran in 2023, 2024. Let's go to where it says announcing. I'm moving fast because this is just a recap. Announcing a meeting to be held between officials of the Central Bank of Iraq and its international partners at the end of this year, meaning 2024, regarding the major shift in ending the work of the electronic platform for foreign transfers and replacing it with direct banking relations between Iraqi banks and international correspondent banking network, according to the plan developed by this bank and implemented internationally. What this is, I'm going to explain it. At the end of 2024, they had a plan to remove themselves from the strong control of the illegal market in Iraq that's controlled by Iran. called the parallel market of their foreign currency, which is the US dollar mainly at the time. And they had to get around it. They had to disconnect from that in order to connect to international correspondent banks. Last Saturday on the call, we talked about the international correspondent banks, which these are the banks that will move the dinar internationally. Iran has no control over these international banks. Now let's continue. Where it says, which will allow the Central Bank of Iraq and the Federal Reserve to exercise their supervisory roles away. You see my mouse? I'm moving it. Away from move the Central Bank of Iraq, Federal Reserves, move their roles away from the executive procedures, as this shift will have important implications for the stability of the dinar. Someone type stability. It's going to come up again. It's going to come up from what from the CBI stated this week about the dinar and the dinar stability. Implications for the stability, smoothness, and transparency of the country's foreign trade financing operations, noting that it aims to achieve the required stability in exchange rates, which in turn will enhance the efficiency of the financial system in Iraq. Think of it, folks. Iraq has been working on stabilizing the dinar. It's like stabilizing their heart rate, stabilizing their blood pressure, so that they can eventually have a healthy dinar. How could it have been healthy with Iranian terrorists controlling their banking system? Couldn't. Let's continue. He noted that the meetings in New York City also addressed mechanisms for expanding the international correspondent banking network and qualifying Iraqi banks to meet the requirements necessary to open their accounts with international correspondent banks, with the aim of enabling them to complete their financial transactions, whether through external transfers in US dollars or other foreign currencies. That is going to come up again. Other foreign currencies. It's going to come up here shortly. You're going to begin to see the picture, the bigger picture of how Iraq has been planning to get away from Iranian influence and revalue the dinar eventually. This is from August 2024. Now, I told you we had to do the recap. I'm moving fast. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. I got to do this differently than what I expected, because having some technical little difficulties, but we're going to go right back to the CBI. Again, this is all what Goldilocks has been sharing. As you see, we're going back to the CBI. Hold tight, hold tight. Right, here we go. Can you all see? Let me know if you can see my new screen with the new article from the CBI. I want to make sure you all can see it, because I don't want to go fast and you can't see it. Okay, you can see it. Okay, got it. However, one second. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do something different. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. But it's not the way I want to. It's not the way I want it. It's not the way I want it. It's not the way I want it. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. It's not the way I want to see it. I want to see it differently. I want to make sure that you all can see it exactly how. Okay. I think that'll do it. 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 No, that didn't do it. No, you guys can't see this. Can you see where it says the Central Bank of Iraq announced the expansion? If y'all can see that, let me know. If not, give me some feedback. Because, okay. I'm not sure if you all can see this. You say you can see it, but I don't think you can. Hold tight. this way. See if this works this way. No. Okay, I didn't think so. Okay, hold tight. I didn't think so. Hold tight, folks. Okay, I'm gonna have to refresh my screen. Hold it. That might work. Hold on, hold on. I'm about to close everything down. Come back and hold tight. I'm still here. Hold on 1 second, folks. I'm gonna have to put some music on so y'all don't just have dead air. Hold on 1 second. Bear with me, folks. We'll be right back. Hold on. I think we're good now. You all can see the CBI now? Whew. Boy, I tell you. Oh, thank you for the hearts. Now I can. Now we good. We good. Man, I tell you. Woo! I think somebody don't want y'all to see this stuff tonight. But the devil is a
Right?
lie. Okay, okay, okay. All right, hold on 1 second. I gotta do one more correction. We're gonna get this right. But we going to the CBI tonight, folks. No matter what they say, we going to the CBI and what the CBI showed us this week. Hold tight. We're right back. Let me get this music back on and get y'all so y'all don't hear no dead air. I'll get right back. Hold on. Okay. Now, you guys should be able to see my screen now. We good? We good? We good? We good? Wow. All right. Peculiar Ram, can you see my screen? Okay, yes. Thank you, She-Hulk. Okay. Good, 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 good. But Peculiar Ram, I need you to hear me. I don't think you can. So,
I can hear
oh,
you.
you can. Okay. My Lord, what in the
Yes.
world was that? Did somebody zap something into my computer?
Listen,
What? Lord,
somebody sent some technical juju our way for a second.
I'm telling you, I apologize for everybody for that inconvenience, that snafu. But it's the tough times that make us tighter and stronger together.
Mhm.
All right.
Yep.
Now, let's get right back into this. We're in December 2020. I'm gonna really go fast through this now. But folks, this is very important for you to pay attention to. We're going to go into now the foreign currency reserves that Iraq has now put into their banking systems 2024 to get around the influence of Iran. And as it states, the Central Bank of Iraq announced, and we're in December. We just left August. Now we're in December 2024, looking at the medical history of Iraq. The Central Bank of Iraq announced the expansion of foreign exchange channels for local banks to include new currencies. Yeah, folks, to include new currencies. The Jordanian dinar, 1. The Saudi Riyal, 2. It also authorized banks to finance trade with Turkey in euros. 3. The currency previously restricted to transactions with European Union countries. Then, expansion is in addition to existing transfers in US dollars. 5. 4. UAE dirhams. 5. Chinese yuan. 6. And the Indian rupees. 7. Folks, Iraq doesn't only have the Iraqi dinar in their reserves. Iraq doesn't only have the US dollar in their reserves. They have euros. They have UAE dirhams. They have Turkish lira. They have Indian rupees. They have Chinese yuan. And you heard this week where Iran stated that for tankers to go through the Strait of Hormuz, they can allow them to go through if they have their transactions to be in the Chinese yuan. Folks, Iraq has 7 different foreign currencies in their reserves. Again, I'm going to repeat that. So when you think of, not only do they have dinar, so you may see their dinar reserves as one, then you see their US dollars reserves as another. They got 6 other foreign currencies in their reserve. In fact, Aulis and anyone else, if you remember, what country did Goldilocks show where Iraq announced where they signed the contract for these other foreign currencies to be put into their reserves? And it was early 2024. It was in a Middle Eastern country where they... Abu Dhabi, exactly. And Abu Dhabi. Now, folks, this is what Goldilocks shared with us in 2024, where Iraq flew to Abu Dhabi. Yup, you were close, Sean. They flew to Abu Dhabi to meet with the United States Treasury and the Federal Reserve to sign contracts to have other currencies in their reserves. Ladies and gentlemen, when all those other currencies revalue, what do you think is going to do to the value of the Iraqi dinar? These are other currencies in their reserves. So you got to remember, Iraq doesn't just have the dinar. They don't just have the US dollar. They have these other currencies in their reserves, and they have gold. Iraq is in the whole entire world. Iraq ranks 29th in foreign currency reserves. Gold reserves. Iraq has so much gold. They rank 4th in the Middle Eastern countries in gold reserves. So you have gold, other precious metals, 6 different currencies, 7, including the US dollar and the Iraqi dinar. Now you see why there's no issue of their reserves. This was all a part of Basel III requirements. I'm going to continue because I have to hurry up. The bank explained that this step is part of the efforts to broaden foreign trade financing options across various currencies and channels. See, folks, you got to understand the reason why Iraq began to do this. This is a part of their reforms back in 2024 in order to bypass the influence of Iran in their banking system. In order to strengthen the dinar, they had to sign contracts to allow to do business and trade and transact in other currencies other than the US dollar. Why? Because it was the US dollar that Iran controlled in Iraq. So to get around that, what they had to do was bypass the US dollar and sign agreements with other foreign currencies to do trade with and to transact with. Sparkplug knows this and everyone else knows this. The reason why they had to do this, folks, because they knew that the US dollar was going to devalue. They were preparing for this. And when the US dollar goes down, Sparkplug and everyone else can tell you what happens to foreign currencies when the US dollar goes down. Sparkplug and his wealth management firm spoke to him about this. Goldilocks has shared this thousands of times. When the US dollar goes down, foreign currencies go where, folks? Boom, there you go. Up. It is worth noting that a smooth transition from an electronic platform to direct correspondent banking transactions took place in 2024. This represents a significant shift by the central bank aligning with international banking practices and receiving widespread praise. This is December of 2019. We're looking at their medical records now. We're coming closer. We're going to 2025. Then we're going to go to last week from the CBI. Now to make sure I do this right, make sure I get the right screen up for y'all. Hold tight, just in case we have any snafus. I'll make sure I get this done right. Just in case, since this seems to be something ugly, oh, but we good. Here we go. Now, I can't help it. I gotta entertain myself while I'm here with y'all.
Right.
Because here I am.
Yeah.
All right, folks, here we go. Now we're gonna go to the U.S. Treasury. What does this state? Treasury takes aim at Iran-backed militia groups threatening the safety of Americans. Folks, this is still the recap from last week. And then we're going to get into what Goldilocks shared this week from the CBI. What the CBI stated this week about the dinar and their economy. But it all is connected to everything we just shared with you. Now, this is what date? Y'all see this date? Can you see this date? October the 9th, 2025. Now we're getting to a closer date, to the present. We looked at their medical past. Now we're going to see more influence of Iran. This is what we shared last week, but we didn't have the technology to screen share it. But here we go. On October the 9th, 2000, folks, this is only 5 months ago. Today, the U.S. Department of Treasury Office of Foreign Assets and Control is taking action against individuals and companies that assist the Iranian regime in evading U.S. sanctions, smuggling weapons, and engaging in widespread corruption in Iraq. I need someone to type OFAC, O-F-A-C, into the chat. It's going to come up again to what Iraq mentioned this week, directly from the CBI this week. Type OFAC. It's going to come up again. And it states, the Iranian regime relies on various militia proxies, Iraqi militia proxies, including U.S.-sanctioned foreign terrorist organization Hezbollah, to penetrate Iraq's security forces and economy. Folks, this is 5 months ago. We talked about this last week. Now we're showing to you in writing, so you have proof what's happening in Iraq's economy and the dinar. It continues. These Iranian-backed groups are not only responsible for the deaths of U.S. personnel, but also conduct attacks against U.S. interests and those of our allies in the Middle East. The militias actively undermine the Iraqi economy. Folks, if they undermine the Iraqi economy, they undermine the dinar. This is just 5 months ago. Monopolizing resources through graft and corruption, and hinder the formation of a functioning Iraqi government that would make the region safer. The targets today include bankers abusing the Iraqi economy to launder money for Iran. Folks, this is just 5 months ago. To launder money for Iran and a terrorist front company that provides support and services to Iraqi militia groups. Treasury is also taking action against Iraq-based Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps assets that operate a source network that gathers information, including on U.S. forces. If you're paying attention right now with this war with Iran, the IRGC, the Iraq-based Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, they're all in the news right now. This is just 5 months ago. Continue. Treasury is targeting Iran-backed militia groups responsible for the deaths of U.S. personnel, said U.S. Undersecretary John Hurley. Today's action is being taken pursuant to Executive Order 13224, which targets terrorists and their supporters. The Department of Treasury designated the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a specially designated global terrorist group. Let's go down. We'll skip down right here. Pay attention. This is where it gets to Iraq's plan. You're going to see how again, you're going to see something here, right here from last October, and then next to this week, what the CBI is talking about regarding the dinar. It states, Iran continually seeks to take advantage of Iraq's economy to evade sanctions, despite progress made by many Iraqi government and financial professionals to secure and modernize their institutions. Someone type modernize in the chat and explain what this is about. So why would the U.S. Department of Treasury impose sanctions on certain Iranian terrorists that operate in Iraq? And they are stating that the Iraqi government, and they're working with the Iraqi government to secure and modernize the Iraqi banking system. Folks, it's to bypass the influence of the Iranian terrorist groups operating in Iraq's banking system. The Iranian terrorist groups, folks, they operate in cash, paper money, paper dinar, paper US dollars. They have no influence in the banking systems. Iraq had to modernize their banking systems in order to meet international standards. It is the Oliver Wyman Company that has helped them to do it with the help of the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve. And Iraq talked about that, the CBI specifically, this week. And we're going to go right to the CBI, show it to you next. I'll continue. Iraqi bank executive Ali Ansari has used his position at the top of several Iraqi commercial banks to enrich his family. The IRGC and the Iranian aligned militia groups. Al-Ghulam has given the IRGC a degree of control over banks, folks, in Iraq, under his purview, where it has generated millions of dollars in revenue for itself and the militia proxies. Folks, pay attention. Iranian militia groups were controlling the Iraqi banking systems, the streets, more so than the banking system, the politicians, the businesses, rampant in Iraq. You must think to yourselves, how would it be possible when the president, his own inner circle stated in April 2024, that the revaluation of currency was the president's part of his agenda when he returned back to office, due to the trade deficit and the overvalued dollar. But Iran was a problem. You just saw it. We just shared it with you. That was April 2024. This is October 2025. You don't think they've been planning this? Now we're at war with the number one source that's been standing in the way from the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. Number one source. I didn't say the only source, the number one source. I'll continue. I'm going to go down where it says Ali, Meftin, Khalif, Bandi are brothers who own and manage IRGC associated Iraqi banks. Meftin and they're brothers. And they have close relationships with senior intelligence officials. They help to generate funds for militias in Iraq that support the IRGC. This is the exact group that's attacking Israel, the U.S. troops, UAE, Saudi Arabia. They're the same group that's holding up the oil in the Strait of Hormuz right now, the IRGC. Folks, this is just 5 months ago from the U.S. Treasury. Let's continue. Let's go down to where? Remember, modernize. We're going to get right back to that in a second here. Let's go down to sanctions and implications. As a result of today's actions, all property interests and property of the designated or blocked persons, I know Peculiar Ram going to like this, described above that are in the United States or in the possession of U.S. controlled persons or blocked and must be reported to OFAC. Folks, this is 5 months ago, but the CBI reported about OFAC in this issue just this week, and Goldilocks shared it. I'll continue. Unless authorized by general or specific license issued by OFAC or exempt, OFAC's regulations generally prohibit all transactions by U.S. persons or within or transiting the United States that involve any property of interest in property of blocked persons. Folks, the United States Treasury, and specifically, of course, run by the U.S. President, started putting the clamps down on Iran in Iraq's banking system last year. Violations of U.S. sanctions may result in the imposition of civil or criminal penalties. I'm skip down to, furthermore, engaging in certain transactions involving persons designated today may risk the imposition of secondary sanctions on participating foreign financial institutions. OFAC can prohibit or impose strict conditions on opening or maintaining in the United States a correspondent account or payable through account of foreign financial institutions that knowingly conducts or facilitates any significant transaction on behalf of a person who is designated pursuant to the relevant authority. Folks, this war with Iran, this wasn't just something that happened overnight. This is something that the United States has been planning since before the president came back in office. And just for a moment, I'm going to share this with you just to remind you one more time, right here, just as a reminder. Okay, hold tight. And we're going to get to the next by Goldilocks. Now we're going to get into what Goldilocks shared this week that the CBI just posted this week. So you're going to be able to see how it's all connected to exactly what is going on right now. Hold tight. What I'm going to do, I'm about to open this up. It may not show Goldilocks article, but so what we're going to have to do is just go right to the CBI, and it's going to summarize exactly what Goldilocks shared this week. Now, folks, we are at the CBI right now. You all see the date, March the 8th, 2026. Type March 8th, 2026 into the chat. So now we looked at Iraq's medical history and the dinar. Remember, there were certain key words that I asked you to type into the chat. Modernize, OFAC, foreign currency reserves, so forth and so on. Now, for those that want to see dates, you saw date 2023, you saw 2024, you saw 2025. That was their medical history. Now, let's get to 2026, less than 7 days ago. You're going to see where it all connects right here, right now. Okay, you ran? The floor is yours.
Yes.
Floor is yours, young lady. It's about time we got to hear your voice. I know we had technical difficulties and challenges and all this foolishness. My God. Let's go. Let's go.
All right, here we go. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, issued a statement. Am I the right one?
In fulfillment.
1 second. Oh,
You good? A little technical difficulties got us all a little discombobulated.
yes, a little bit.
It's all good.
Oh, am I reading the link?
No, the whole link. Yeah. I'm sorry. You're right. The whole link. Yep, you're good. But in fulfillment. So go right into the CBI.
What?
No, not the. If you can see the link on my screen. In fact, I'll send it to you. Hold tight.
Yeah, because I'm not on YouTube.
Oh, okay. So check your inbox.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay.
We gonna get around it. That's all good. This is it right here.
All right. Open it up now.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I have it. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that.
No. You're good. You're good.
In fulfillment of its constitutional and legal responsibilities to protect monetary and financial stability and maintain the soundness and integrity of the banking system in Iraq, the Board of Directors of the Central Bank of Iraq held an extraordinary session to follow up on current economic and financial developments, review key macroeconomic indicators, and assess future prospects in light of local and international developments and the challenges or opportunities they may present to the national economy.
Okay, folks, let me summarize this so you understand what this means. In fulfillment of its constitutional and legal responsibilities to protect the monetary and financial stability, folks, this is related to the stability of the dinar, and maintain the soundness and integrity of the banking system in Iraq, the Board of Directors held an extraordinary session to follow up on current economic and financial developments, review key macroeconomic indicators. Macroeconomic indicator, folks, is global indicators. You have the macro and you have the micro. The macro is the overall entire global financial system and what's involved. And what they're referring to right now to review key macroeconomic indicators are the global implications to Iraq based on what's happening in the global financial system and geopolitics. What's that? The war right now. Macro is the overall above and beyond system. Micro is just within their own borders. So when they're talking about macro, they're talking about overall, globally. During this meeting, you can go ahead.
During the meeting, the board conducted a comprehensive assessment of the monetary and financial market conditions, including an analysis of liquidity levels in the banking system, developments in the money supply, and a review of the central bank's foreign currency needs.
Pause. Why would they have a need for foreign currency? Folks, we told you there's six or seven different foreign currencies they already have in their reserves. They signed the contract with the U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve, with the Oliver Wyman Company in Abu Dhabi in 2024. What were they preparing for? By stockpiling their reserves of all these different foreign currencies. The reason being is they were just making sure that they were compliant with the Basel III requirements, which are for every central bank around the world it was mandatory to be compliant in 2024 by the end with the Basel III requirements for capital reserves, meaning not only their own home, so not only Iraq having dinar as reserves, but they had to have other foreign currencies as well. This was a Basel III requirement. The Central Bank of Vietnam became compliant as well. All central banks for all whatever currency you hold, every single country became compliant. So now what Iraq is doing is they were just making sure in 2024 that they were prepared, and by actually 2023 they were getting prepared for 2024 for the Basel III requirements to stockpile their banking system with not just the dinar, not just the US dollar, but the Turkish lira, the UAE dirham, the Saudi riyal, the Chinese yuan, so forth and so on. Folks, these other foreign currencies that Iraq stockpiled in their banking system along with gold, you got to remember, it's the collective, the totality of the reserves in their banking system with these other foreign currencies and gold, not just the dinar. They're moving away from the US dollar in their transactions. This is all going to begin to make sense to you in a little bit. You can continue, young lady. The board also reviewed.
The board also reviewed financial stability indicators and the performance of the banking sector, in addition to monitoring foreign trade and payment flows, while assessing potential risks associated with regional and international economic variables and their possible repercussions on the Iraqi economy.
So what you're talking about, folks, is they're making sure that what's happening, and they're not going to just come out and say that they're monitoring the war to determine that it's going to make that it's not going to have an issue with the stability of the dinar. That's not going to be their language. Their language is going to be macroeconomic, assessing potential risks associated with regional, what's happening in their region, war, and international economic variables. The board also discussed, you can continue.
The board also discussed a number of potential economic and financial scenarios for the coming period, focusing on how to enhance the flexibility of monetary policy, sustain financial stability, and ensure the banking system's ability to respond effectively to the demands of economic activity.
You can continue.
In this context, it is necessary to clarify that the central bank's reserves cover about 12 months of imports, and the Council affirms that the bank has full readiness and effective tools to deal with various developments, especially with its comfortable reserve balance, and that it is prepared to take appropriate measures at the right time to ensure the stability of monetary and financial markets and enhance confidence in the banking sector.
This week, I posted when Goldilocks shared the article and I posted the podcast. I talked about the stability of the Iraqi dinar. The central bank is telling you folks they're ready, they're prepared for anything that happens. No matter, they're not going to say if it's the war. They're going to talk about macro economics. They're going to talk about the readiness to deal with various developments in the region. This is all about the dinar being strong enough to sustain itself because Iraq is Basel III compliant. They have enough reserves in various currencies. They have enough gold. No matter what happens, Iraq is stating, regardless of the war, the dinar is stable. And it's the stability of the dinar that was necessary way before the revaluation of the dinar. Based on this comprehensive assessment, you can continue.
Based on this comprehensive assessment, the Council concluded the following. Number one, the strength of foreign reserves and financial buffers. The Central Bank of Iraq enjoys a strong level of financial buffers and comfortable foreign reserves at safe levels, which provides an important margin of flexibility in managing monetary policy and confronting any potential economic shocks or fluctuations, and contributes to strengthening monetary stability and maintaining the strength of the financial system in the country.
So there's what they're saying, folks. It doesn't matter what is happening all around them. Right next door, their neighbor, Iran. what's happening even with Iran targeting them, Iraq, and U.S. bases in Iraq. They're saying they're strong. The dinar is stable. You can continue. Oh, this next part, securing salaries and basic expenses. Folks, just last month, when the CBI, the governor stated, the central bank governor stated that they will not change the value of the dinar. Remember, because you ran the uproar, the people had, oh my God. And we stated, no, calm down. It's not what you think. What he was stating is that at that time, there was no need to change the value of the dinar. Not that they wouldn't ever, but the IMF gave Iraq 3 options to consider to stabilize the dinar. Number 1, to raise tariffs. Or number 2, to cut public salaries. Or number 3, to devalue the dinar. Iraq chose number 1, to raise tariffs. We talked about that last week, folks. Now, number 2, securing salaries. Go ahead, young lady.
Securing salaries and basic expenses. The Council discussed a number of alternatives to ensure the securing of salaries and basic expenses during the coming months. In order to guarantee the regular implementation of the state's financial obligations and to contribute to supporting the economic and living stability of citizens, as well as enhancing confidence in the state's financial and monetary policies and the continuation of economic activity in a normal manner. Number 3, enhancing the liquidity of the banking system. The Council affirms the importance of the central bank continuing to support the liquidity of banks in order to ensure the stability of daily banking operations and the smooth flow of financial services provided to the public. This aims to enable banks to meet the needs of citizens and the private sector efficiently and regularly. The central bank seeks to enhance the role of the banking sector in supporting economic activity and financing various productive and service sectors.
So they're saying, folks, is that no matter what, so the aims the banks to meet the needs of the citizens. They're whether it's public sector, whether it's ambulance, fire, emergency, no matter what it is, water, sewer, they have the money to take care of their citizens. No issues. Number 4,
ensuring the smooth flow of external transfers. The Council stressed the importance of the continued smooth flow of external financial transfers to cover import operations and other international payments in order to ensure the stability of foreign trade and the availability of goods and services in the local market.
Very important. The Council stressed the importance of the continued smooth flow of external financial transfers to cover import operations and other international payments. Folks, import operations is trade of goods and services. This is why Goldilocks has always coined the phrase, watch the water. Foreign trade. Currency revaluation is likely to be priority with the second Trump administration, large in part to the overvalued dollar and the trade deficit. This comes as a part of, you can continue.
This comes as part of supporting the private sector's ability to meet market needs and maintain stable supply levels in local markets.
Boom. Now, we're going to jump to the next article that Goldilocks shared, and we're going to go right into those key words that you all typed into the chat, and it's going to make sense to all of you. I'm going to go grab it, and I have to go around. I have to do this differently since this is acting a little funky, the technology, but we're going to work around it just like this. Ha ha. Boom, yeah. Now we see those key words, folks, going to come right up. This is, somebody type February 26, 2026. So this is just 3-4 weeks ago. Iraq increases private banks' capacity to engage in foreign trade. Folks, this is the movement of currency out of Iraq throughout the international banking system through foreign trade. Let me give you an example why this is so important. Remember those foreign currencies? The UAE dirham, the Turkish lira, the Chinese yuan, so forth and so on. Folks, in order for Iraq, when they do trade with these other countries, for example, Turkey, it'll be the Turkish lira. When I say that, I mean their imports will be in dinars, their exports will be in the Turkish lira. So whatever country that they are doing trade with, the settlement of those transactions will be in dinars. Coming in but going out, it will be in that foreign currency of that country. So if they're doing trade with Turkey, they're going to use the Turkish lira, but settled in dinar. They're going to do trade with UAE, United Arab Emirates. The trade is going to be in the UAE dirham, settled in the Iraqi dinar. Sure enough, yes, ma'am. So now, we working good behind the scenes together, young lady. Thank you so much, so much. All right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, folks. So now, let's go. The floor is yours. This is just from a few weeks ago. You see the new headquarters of the Central Bank of Iraq. You see that right there? Did you see the date? February 26th. Iraq increases private banks' capacity to engage in foreign trade. Folks, this is where Iraq is. And how are they able to do this? Through the international correspondent banks, but also the ICE cutter system, the automated systems and customs data through the reports. Let's go. Central Bank of Iraq announced on Thursday.
The Central Bank of Iraq announced on Thursday the commencement of a new initiative aiming to increase private banks' capabilities to engage in foreign trade.
This is the new capabilities, folks. This is a new initiative aiming to increase private banks' capabilities to engage in foreign trade. Folks, and the only way that a country can engage in foreign trade, folks, this is trade beyond their borders. They have to have the technology in place, ICE cutter, the new banking system. They're moving money. Now let's get into, this is going to get even. We're going to get to the good part. Go ahead, young lady, the next part, and then go ahead. I'm going to have to pause for a second, but go ahead.
Okay. The initiative enables private banks to restart cross-border operations and issue letters of credit in several foreign currencies.
Now you folks, if you're not sitting down, sit down right now. I know most of you probably are, but I gotta. Now we're gonna pause, and I gotta show you something that is going to connect. It says the initiative enables private banks to restart cross-border operations and issue letters of credit in several foreign currencies. Let me explain what cross-border operations are, and then those letters of credit, and then I'm going to show you what cross-border operations and transactions are. Goldilocks has shown this thousands of times, and we've stated thousands of times. Folks, cross-border operations or cross-border transactions is foreign currency exchange. When you have one currency and you're exchanging it for another, that's cross-border, two different currencies on two different borders. When countries like Iraq and others do trade amongst each other, that means they're doing trade cross borders. And it has to be settled. The transaction, that is, has to be settled in that country's currency. So therefore, it's cross border. That's foreign currency transactions. A new initiative aiming to increase private banks' capability to engage in foreign trade. The initiative enables private banks to restart, you might as well say, foreign currency transactions. Mm-hmm. 1 second, I'm going to show it to you. Since my computer is this technology acting real funky, I got to make sure I get it right. Hold tight. Just gotta make sure.
Gotta make sure.
Gotta make sure. Okay. All right. Okay. I think now let's go right here. Foreign currency exchange. Now, as you all can see, cross-border payments. What are cross-border payments? Cross-border payments are transactions involving payers and recipients in different countries, which frequently but not always require foreign currency exchange. These transactions move funds across borders, often involving currency conversion, bank transfers, or digital wallets, and are essential for international trade, e-commerce, and remittances. Why would Iraq be able to do this? Let's open this up a little bit. Key aspects of cross-border transactions and Forex, currency conversion. So remember, folks, this is what Iraq just restarted. When the payer's currency differs from the payee's, remember, two different countries, two different borders, two different currencies, the transaction involves a foreign exchange conversion to settle the amount, often incurring fees. Forex risk, cross-border payments in foreign currencies face risks from fluctuating exchange rates between the transaction initiation and settlement, impacting profitability. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details here, but I just wanted to share that with you so you have a better understanding. All right, young lady, the CBI said in a statement on Thursday.
The CBI said in a statement on Thursday that it has completed a critical stage in the reform process for commercial and Islamic banks, as well as branches of foreign banks operating in the country.
I forgot to tell y'all to type the word reform in the chat, but you all know reform, reform, reforms. This is the reforms that is the prescription that is needed for Iraq to transition from their sick old economy with Iran influencing their entire banking system to a healthy banking system whereby they can go international. The reforms. Over the following months, go ahead.
Over the following months, banks will take steps to address any observed gaps and achieve full compliance with reform criteria, according to the CBI. The action builds on the CBI's efforts to boost trust in the Iraqi economy and the global interconnection of the financial sector, as well as to support Iraq's long-term prosperity.
The action builds. So what action? Cross-border payments that they now have taken live with their private banks. The action builds on the CBI's efforts to boost trust in the Iraqi economy and the global interconnection of the financial sector, as well as to support Iraq's long-term prosperity. Folks, to boost the trust in Iraq's economy and the global interconnection. In order for Iraq to go international, they have to interconnect with the global economy. The international correspondent banks, they are the institutions that helped Iraq to do it. The U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve, the Oliver Wyman Company. That was their responsibility for the last 2 to 3 years back to 2023, where we showed you, I know we had a little technical difficulties, to show you the transition that Iraq had from 2023, 2024, 2025. They started in 2023 with Oliver Wyman, U.S. Treasury, so forth and so on. Now it's going to all make sense to you this next few sentences. Go, young lady. In mid-January this year.
In mid-January, U.S. Special Envoy to Iraq, Mark Savaya, I'm assuming, met with the U.S. Department of the Treasury and the Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, to discuss major obstacles and reform prospects for both state-owned and private banks in Iraq.
Now, you folks remember, I asked you to type OFAC in the chat. We saw that in 2023, 2024, 2025. This is the sanctions body by the U.S. Treasury. So the U.S. Special Envoy Mark Savaya, which I think he's not but he's been replaced. Nonetheless, it still happened. This was a meeting they had with the U.S. Treasury and OFAC. Again, why, folks? They have to make sure they have their foot on. Folks, this was last month, February, right around the time. Right before the time the U.S. attacked Iran. You can continue. Savaya said.
Savaya said in a statement that the meeting focused on improving financial governance, compliance, and institutional accountability.
Mm-hmm.
The U.S. Treasury Department and OFAC are conducting a thorough investigation into suspected payment records and financial transactions involving Iraqi institutions, companies, and individuals linked to smuggling, money laundering, and fraudulent financial contracts and projects that facilitate terrorist activities.
Folks, this was just...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. This was just 3 weeks ago. 3-4 weeks ago. Where they're talking about the U.S. Treasury and OFAC targeting companies and individuals linked to smuggling, money laundering, and financial contracts and transactions with terrorist activities. Right before the war. Again, I asked this question last week. I'm going to ask this, and the week before, I'm going to ask this question now. Do you think that the Trump administration or any country around the world would be okay with the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar while Iranian terrorists was running their banking system? I don't think so. But Iraq has been working around it with the U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve, and the Oliver Wyman companies through reforms. Iraq has had their plan, and they're moving forward with their plan. And actually, Goldilocks has some more information next week about their plan going of international. Go, young lady. Previously,
the CBI reached a deal with the consulting company Oliver Wyman to perform assessments as part of its restructuring strategy.
It was the Oliver Wyman company. Remember, we showed you back in 2023, 2024, where this international consulting company actually held Iraq's hand to help implement their reforms, to show them the way. Folks, the Oliver Wyman company is also the official company that's responsible for showing countries around the world, to help them, I should say, to meet the requirements to gain full accession into the World Trade Organization. Oliver Wyman is the official company. It's a consulting firm. Go, young lady.
In mid-August, CBI officials met with Oliver Wyman representatives to review the Iraqi Private Banks League's banking reform plan, which aims to modernize Iraq's banking system and align operations with global practices.
Are you all seeing what this just said? And if you can connect the dots again to what this means? In mid-August last year, the CBI met with Oliver Wyman representatives again to review the Iraqi Banks League's banking reform plans. This is what Oliver Wyman helped Iraq. This is so they can go international. This is so they can get into the World Trade Organization, which aims to modernize. Remember, I asked y'all to type modernize into the chat from the report, from the article from the CBI from 2024. I'm sorry, from 2025. With, in fact, I hope my screen don't act funky. I'm gonna go right here to it. Let's go right. Oh, we back good again on the screen. So I'm gonna go right to it where it says modernize. Where we at? And this is what. Let me go back to the top because I'll remember it when I see it from the top. This is to modernize. Here we go. Right here. right? Sure. Look, the IRGC, which is the Iranian terrorist group in Iraq. Remember, this is just October. Remember, from the U.S. Treasury. Look at it. This is receipts. As Our Lady Unique would say, receipts. The United States Department of Treasury, October the 9th, 2025, just 5 months ago. What is Iraq's workaround of Iran's influence in their economy and choking the dinar? Right here it states, Iran continually seeks to take advantage of Iraq's economy to evade sanctions, despite progress made by many Iraqi government and financial professionals to secure and modernize their institutions. Folks, this is how to avoid to get around and bypass the money laundering, terrorist financing that Iran has over the Iraqi economy. Iraq knew they had to modernize their banking system because Iran has no influence, no control over the electronic system in Iraq because it's connected to the international banking system. Iran has no control over that. Now let's go back. I'm glad this is working now. Okay. Okay. The plan enables.
The plan enables banks to play an economic role in promoting growth while offering the most efficient services possible.
Yes, yes, yes. Now, folks, if you are connecting the dots, I hope that all makes sense to you. I apologize, this is a little long. Like I said, I did say it was going to be longer, but I didn't know it was going to be this long. But now we're going to go. I spoke it to an existence. Now let's go to Vietnam. See, and what I wanted this to be able to do is to show the exact Goldilocks article write-up, but I'm going to have to do this differently. I know what to do. I know exactly what to do. And let's do this. Let's do this. Hold tight, folks. I just got to get around this. Here we go. I have to get around this little issue with the technology and make it work. Make it work. Okay. Now what I hope, no, that's not going to work. So what we'll do, we're going to have to yeah, that's not. I'm gonna try something real quick. I'm gonna see if this works. I'm gonna test this technology one more time and see if it will allow me to do what it's supposed to do. If not, we're gonna work around it. I think it might be working. I think it might be working now. I'm whispering. I think it might be working. It's working. There we go. Now we can see the full Goldilocks article. We couldn't see it before. Now it's working. Whew. Okay. Can you see it in the?
I see it in you. I see what I need to view.
Okay, Vietnam.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So let me preface this, folks. Folks, you understand the whole idea for the revaluation of currencies is the weakening dollar, the US dollar, and for countries to begin to utilize their own currencies through trade instead of the US dollar. As Vietnam uses less of the US dollar and more of the dong begins to go up in value. There's other factors as well. Iraq, same thing. As they begin to use less of the US dollar. This is why Iran, because Iran has sanctions by the US, Iran doesn't have access to US dollars. So Iran, being they're the neighbors of Iraq and they have influence over many Iraqi politicians in the banking system and businesses and on the streets, Iran used Iraq to get US dollars because Iraq has access to US dollars. The US dollar is the strongest currency in the world. So Iran used Iraq's banking system, the streets of Iraq, to access US dollars and smuggle those dollars back to Iran. We showed it to you in writing. This is another reason why what's happening in Iran now is happening in Iran now by the US. But now as Iraq begins to use less of the US dollar and more of the Iraqi dinar, it begins the justification for the Iraqi dinar and the stability and the confidence in the Iraqi dinar globally to begin to move. And Goldilocks will share some more about that next week as well. Vietnam's de-dollarization. Go ahead.
Okay. Vietnam's de-dollarization efforts, reducing reliance on the US dollar, USD, in domestic transaction, loans, and trade, have been ongoing for years under the State Bank of Vietnam,
And folks,
the SBV.
The SBV, folks, State Bank of Vietnam, is Vietnam's central bank. It's just named the State Bank of Vietnam. Go ahead.
Mhm. These policies aim to boost confidence in the Vietnamese dong, improve monetary policy control, and limit dollarization in the economy.
As they limit the US dollar's usage in Vietnam, this is where the beginning of the Vietnamese dong begins to go up in value and in strength, because of the demand for the dong will begin to go up because the demand for the dollar is going down, not just in Vietnam, but also globally. And I think we're scrolling down, right?
Mhm. Yes,
Okay.
yes, in summary.
Okay. Thank you.
In summary, we are in the ongoing implementation and stabilization phase. Post 2019 policies, partial domestic success. Far from complete de-dollarization, triggering automatic Vietnamese dong appreciation. Current dynamics favor controlled depreciation to aid exports amid global uncertainties.
See, and folks, you got to understand, this also comes back to the president's RV plan is the weak dollar. Because the less the dollar is used, that's why de-dollarization is less usage of the dollar, meaning to separate from the dollar. As long as Vietnam and Iraq and other countries were utilizing the world's #1 reserve currency, which was the US dollar, there was no need, there was no purpose for their currencies to go. There was no mechanism for their currencies to go up in value when they weren't utilizing their currencies through trade. Folks, I'm explaining for those of you, and I don't want to assume you know what I mean by this. It is through trade on the water. This is why Goldilocks has coined the phrase on the water. Folks, it's trillions and trillions of dollars every single day that happens through trade through the ports with companies that are trading imports and exports of goods and services daily. These countries, majority of these countries, when they did trade, like for example, it would be Iraq with Russia or Vietnam with Indonesia, whatever country, those transactions were in US dollar. Because the US dollars, the demand was high. Now the US dollar is going down. These countries are moving away from utilizing the US dollar. It's to their incentive to stop using the US dollar because it's getting weaker. This is where their own currencies they will begin to use in trade will begin to move their currency values up. Remember, and I'm gonna scroll back up. To it, right here. Look at what the president's RV plan. Currency revaluation is likely to be priority for some members of potential second Trump administration, mainly because of the viewpoint that an overvalued dollar, the dollar is overvalued, folks, because it was used so much, too much. And that contributed to the U.S. trade deficit. But look right here. But weakening the dollar could have far-reaching consequences from sending consumer prices for imported products. Remember, this is on the water. to inviting retaliation from other countries and threatening the dollar's role as the world reserve currency, which would undermine U.S. sanctions on adversaries like Iran, because Iran was using Iraq for U.S. dollars. I hope this is making sense to you. I hope this is making sense to you, folks. Because I hope you're picking up what we're putting down, and you're seeing it now in black and white.
Yep.
Go, young lady. The floor is yours.
Okay. Vietnam's path to de-dollarization and the VND outlook. Vietnam has pursued de-dollarization since the late 2010s to enhance monetary sovereignty and VND stability. The State Bank of Vietnam has restricted USD loans, promoted Vietnamese dong in domestic and bilateral trade, and targeted reduced dollar reliance in debts.
Now pay attention. Now you see here, this is where they started to de-dollarize. Vietnam has pursued de-dollarization since the 2010s to enhance monetary sovereignty and the dong's stability. Remember, what did the CBI talk about with the Iraqi dinar? Stability.
Stability.
Folks, before a currency can revalue, it must become stable. Just like we talked about the medical history. In order for a physical body that's in a sick state, doctor, even in an emergency, they must stabilize your blood pressure. If it doesn't get stabilized, they have to give you some. The doc might give you meds. Stabilize your heart rate. I don't know what they do with that, but they do something. But in order for in order for your body to recover, to begin to heal, the doctors must get your body into a state of stability. In order for Iraq, for Vietnam, for Venezuela, for any country, any of these countries who their economies have been sick, they have to heal. How? They have to first stabilize these countries and their currencies through reforms. Iraq, Vietnam, and the rest of them have done it. And what has helped for the stability of these countries? Basel III, gold, and their reserves, de-dollarizing, ditching the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar has been the number one corporate to make these countries sick. So it's stating, the Central Bank of Vietnam has restricted U.S. dollar loans. They were gradually removing from the U.S. dollar, promoting the Vietnamese dong in domestic and bilateral trade. Because this is where currency values move up or down. It's through the supply and demand on the water, as Goldilocks is all through trade, as Goldilocks has always said. You can continue, young lady.
While domestic dollarization has declined significantly, external factors like USD strength, trade surpluses with the U.S., and global pressures have led to gradual dong depreciation rather than appreciation.
As of 2026.
As of 2026, Vietnam's economy shows resilience with a strong GDP growth, around 7% in recent years. But forecasts indicate modest VND weakening, 2 to 5% annually, through 2026 due to external headwinds. True appreciation would require sustained fundamentals, robust FDI, trade diversification, high reserves, and controlled inflation.
High reserves. Folks, FDI stands for Foreign Direct Investments. Go ahead. De-dollarization enables. Go ahead.
De-dollarization enables better SBV, State Bank of Vietnam policy tools, but the VND value hinges on these broader drivers, not de-dollarization alone. Progress is steady but incremental, with no near-term completion sparking rapid gains just yet. The fundamentals are in place. and trade is increasing rapidly. All timelines are subject to change. As de-dollarization continues, trade picks up, along with foreign currency surplus and monetary policy shift towards supply and demand. We will see the appreciation of the Vietnamese dong with solid fundamentals to carry it into the future.
Now. Goldilocks is referencing this from the World Bank and the IMF. Folks, remember there's 4 agencies that oversee the revaluation of currencies around the world. The World Bank, the IMF, the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, and the U.S. Treasury. Now, in this article right here from the IMF, this was their Article 4 consultation that was done last year. Right here. This is where, and this was on from June the 24th, 2025, at the time when this report came out from the IMF about Vietnam. Remember this, the IMF completes 2025 Article 4 mission to Vietnam. Folks, this is their annual and biannual review. They did the same review for Iraq. This is the economic outlook for Vietnam that the IMF gave Vietnam, and it tells Vietnam, but it suggests to Vietnam that they have the ability to move the exchange rate of the Vietnamese dong, basically to let it go from being a controlled exchange rate that they have for years, for decades controlled. The IMF gave Vietnam the green light to begin to move the value of the Vietnamese dong. Basically, they let them know, based on this report, and this report that the IMF did, this is a 12 to 13 month process. Think of it as an annual checkup. And based on the fundamentals, based on the reforms that Vietnam implemented, based on the changes that they made in their economy and with the Vietnamese dong and moving away from the US dollar, the IMF told Vietnam they have everything it takes thus far to begin to move the value of the Vietnamese dong up. And it says it in a certain way right here. At the second bullet. In fact, let me go to the first so you understand. Right here, we're going to start here. Vietnam's economy, this is from the IMF to Vietnam, started 2025 strongly with 6.9% year-on-year growth in the first quarter. However, the outlook is more challenging amid global trade tensions and high uncertainty. This is what Goldilocks was sharing with you. But this is where the IMF told Vietnam they can get jiggy with it. Right here. It says, IMF says there is room for greater support by fiscal policy to cushion the impact of global shocks if needed, allowing more flexibility in the exchange rate of the Vietnamese dong and strengthening the financial system will be important. This is where Goldilocks has always said, even before this report from the IMF, that the dong would float. And years before the IMF gave this report, letting Vietnam that they can now begin to move the exchange rate of the dong by having more flexibility, meaning they can reduce the restrictions and control by depreciating the dong. They have the fundamentals and the ability now to be flexible in the exchange rate of the dong. That is just folks, this is just financial technical terms for meaning to allow the Vietnamese dong to move up by market forces. They're not going to say, Vietnam, yes, you can go ahead and RV the dong. Folks, that's not, the RV is not even a banking term. So if you are expecting or wanting or thinking that because it doesn't say from the IMF to Vietnam, you should RV the dong, you're missing out on what this actually means. Go back. That's right from the World Bank and the IMF, directly from the IMF, letting Vietnam know they can begin to move the exchange rate of the dong. Now, let me preface this. This month is on October the 7th, 2025. The FTSE Russell gave the green light to Vietnam that their stock market has officially met the requirements to be upgraded to an emerging market. This month, March, is the review. September is expected final completion and implementation into the FTSE Russell. For those that may not know what that is, the FTSE Russell, it is the stock market that is actually owned by the London Stock Exchange, connected to the New York Stock Exchange. So now, Vietnam and the Vietnamese dong will be able to go beyond its borders of Vietnam and their traditional way of transacting and doing business with the dong, to begin to move the dong, to allow the dong to move into other financial markets throughout the world via the FTSE Russell, the London Stock Exchange, the New York Stock Exchange. Now, let me say this about dates. Yes, 2026 in September is the final implementation. That does not mean, because I know what many of you are thinking, do we have to wait till then? That is not what that means. That is not what that means. That's just letting you know what the date is for the final implementation. They've already began. There are plenty of people on this call right now that have banking relationships with actual firms, international firms that are involved with all currencies around the world daily in transactions in the trillions, that are telling their clients and many of our members here to get prepared for emerging market currencies that are coming. The Vietnamese dong is one of them. Now, I gotta make sure this is done right again. This one, I make sure this is gonna be acted right.
You got it now, Freedom.
I see, but I don't know. This thing is acting a little funky. I just want to make sure, because it was acting. It was trying to be a little stubborn over her. We were trying to be a little stubborn. Okay, so now we'll go over here, and let me make sure I send this to you, unless you don't have it. Don't say I got it just yet.
Are we on Basel?
Yes, we're gonna go to Basel.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I gotta make sure this thing is acting right. So let me scroll up. So now we're gonna go to the global. We touched. We gave you Iraq. We gave you Vietnam. Now we're going to go to what Goldilocks shared on Basel III, which is why Iraq and also why Vietnam has been stockpiling their reserves, because it was a requirement to stockpile their reserves in order to meet international standards. Prior to any sort of currency revaluations, they had to do what they had to do. Now here we go. The floor is yours.
All right. Basel regulators hail progress on global banking rules. The group of central bank governors and heads of supervision, GHOS, the oversight body for the Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, met on March 9th, 2026, and issued an update on key banking standards.
Oh, 1 second, beloved. Let me make sure folks, let me tell you what Basel III is. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I want to make sure, just in case if you miss it. The Basel III After the 2008 crisis, the Basel III Committee, the Basel Committee, was created. This was to prepare and avoid financial crises and financial calamities with countries, so that there's no financial crashes around the world. The Basel Committee came up with international standards that every central bank around the world were required to have a certain amount of capital in their reserves, not only in their own currency, but other foreign currencies as well. This is why Iraq did what they had to do, met with the U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve, the Oliver Wyman Company, and signed the contract in Abu Dhabi in the spring of 2024 in order to stockpile the Iraqi banking system with other foreign currencies. Also, the Basel requirements for all central banks around the world, not just central banks, but all banks as well. All banks, literally all banks, to have enough capital reserves, but also gold reserves. Again, Iraq is fourth in the Middle East countries as far as they rank fourth in gold reserves. They rank 29th in the world in gold reserves. Also, a part of the Basel III, the Basel Committee standards for international standards for all banks around the world. Also, these banks must have an adequate amount of cryptocurrency in their reserves. It was mandatory. This is to avoid shocks and crises of any financial. So just imagine the revaluation of currencies around the world, and if there's another 2008 crash, I think Peculiar Ram, you might have been in the second grade. You won't remember this, but this was a 2008 crash when everything just went belly up with all the banks around the world. So this is to avoid that. Just imagine you exchange your currency. You're a multi-millionaire, some of you billionaires, and there's a crash, and all your money goes to ashes. The Basel requirements is to avoid that. So when we shared with you, and we had to recap what we shared with you, why Iraq, we had to go back into their medical history to see in 2023 what they started to do with their reforms and reserves. 2024, they signed a contract for the reserves with the various foreign currencies. The digital asset regulations, we didn't touch on tonight, but Goldilocks shared before. The gold reserves, everything they've been preparing, because if anything happens, they wanted to be prepared to protect the dinar. And by protecting the dinar, it's protecting anyone who holds it. But remember, all banks, central banks and all banks, are compliant as well. Strong advances, go ahead.
Strong advances in Basel III rollout. Strong advances in Basel III rollout. GHOS members reported solid headway on implementing the remaining Basel III reforms, post-2008 crisis rules designed to strengthen bank capital, risk management, and resilience. Around 75% of member jurisdictions have now implemented or are about to implement the standards. The rest have shared clear timelines. The group welcomed this momentum and stressed the need for full, consistent implementation across all members as quickly as possible. Recent financial market shocks underscored the value of a robust, level global regulatory framework. Targeted updates ahead. GHOS endorsed 2 focused reviews by the Basel Committee. A review of certain aspects of the prudential rules for banks' crypto asset exposures, prompted by recent developments in crypto markets.
1 second, beloved. Remember, folks, I told you that not only is it the reserves of a country in their own currency, but the reserves of a country also in foreign currency reserves, gold, and crypto assets. See, folks, you gotta understand. Before the paper RV is digital RV, where cryptocurrencies, also precious metals, We see gold continuously rising, reaching its all-time high right now. Crypto assets and paper will move after. They're all moving literally right now. Go, young lady.
A targeted review of the governance and transparency and how global systemically import banks. I'm sorry. Let me read that again. A targeted review of the governance and transparency and how global systemically important banks, too big to fail institutions, are assessed and scored. Further updates on both are expected later in 2026. Overall, the meeting reaffirmed commitment to tightening global banking safeguards while adapting rules to emerging risks like digital assets.
Digital assets. This is where the digital asset regulations are so vitally important. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead.
The Bank of International Settlements is focusing on improving the efficiency and reducing the cost of cross-border payments by 2027, which inherently includes making the trading and settlement of less liquid, exotic, and emerging market currencies more resilient and faster through technology like CBDCs.
And folks who might just get spooked out, I think by now people aren't as afraid of CBDCs.
Yeah.
I know there was the spooky dookie thing going on about CBDCs when it was first talked about and all that. You got to understand, this doesn't apply. It won't apply to much anyone here when it comes to CBDCs. And also, I want to preface this as well. A part of the Genius Act and the Clarity Act is also to assure, and this is something that the president has been very adamant about, is to assuring the safety and security and the privacy of each and every individual in the banking system so that you won't have to have concerns about CBDCs. This is a part of the negotiations back and forth with the politicians right now in the U.S., large in part, over and about privacy. Okay? Now, last but not least, if you could read that last part, I don't think we touched on that with Vietnam, but this is about Goldilocks as well.
Okay. Bottom line, it is no longer a matter of if Vietnam will change the value of their currency. It is a matter of when. The fundamentals for change are in place. We just have to continue to watch the water now.
Let me re-emphasize this. The bottom line, Goldilocks stating, there's no longer a matter of if Vietnam will change the value of the dong. It's only a matter of when. Because the fundamentals for change are in place. What Goldilocks means by the fundamentals are in place. Meaning that even with, and also with the IMF report, this is why the Article IV consultation by the IMF showed Vietnam that all of the necessary requirements to change the value of the Vietnamese dong, they have every last one of those requirements met. That was through the reforms that Vietnam implemented between 2023 and 2025. And all of those reforms, especially last year, Goldilocks shared all of those with us. So you have to realize that when the IMF has given Vietnam the green light to say, you can flex your exchange rate, you can flex the Vietnamese dong, that's because they've met all of the necessary requirements and they have the fundamentals in place to justify a higher exchange rate. They have the stability They have the reforms. Vietnam's banking system is modernized. They have one of the fastest growing economies in the world. So collectively, Vietnam has the fundamentals to absolutely prepare to move the value of the Vietnamese dong. And when you have the four agents, one of the four agencies that are responsible for the revaluation of currencies, the IMF, telling Vietnam, it's okay. You have the support of the international community to do it. They already are in place of doing it. 1 second, I think you sent me something else, and I'll go and grab
I
that.
think the one last one.
Okay, thank you so much.
That was
Appreciate
the
it.
last one.
All right, I appreciate it. My Lord. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Of course.
Yes, indeed, beloved. I appreciate that. All right. Last but not least, on Basel III. Go ahead, young lady.
Okay. The combination of Basel III endgame reforms and accelerating de-dollarization efforts is creating conditions that could, in the long term, support the rise of local currencies relative to the US dollar, though the process is expected to be gradual. The shift away from the dollar could lead to a broad depreciation of US assets as nations diversify their reserves.
As nations diversify their reserves, just like Iraq, Vietnam, and other countries have been doing, so that they can prepare for their own currencies to be stronger, longer. Now I know this was long. I know this was
Stronger and longer, like you just said. That's
that's cool. Beautiful folks. This, once again, I know I don't have to do it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Sometimes you just never know what's gonna happen when you go live. But it is what it is. All right, beautiful folks. It's late. I don't want to hold you guys up. I don't know. I know the tribe be liking to hang out a little bit. I don't know if you do or you don't want to, but I just want to say this. This was amazing to be able to share this with you all, and especially to be able to share it in black and white, and for you all to be able to see directly from the CBI, directly from the IMF, directly from the U.S. Treasury, where the receipts, to be able to see it. It's beautiful. Snipers, good to see you, my good man. I know you had your daughter's birthday. We missed you tonight. It's good to see you. I'm glad you made it in. Thank you, Nova Knickers. Folks, if you like the fact that you were able to see receipts, just know from now moving forward, and I'm going to work on this technology to make sure next call, well, you never know, it can happen again, but now I know what to do if it happens again, and so next time I'll be able to pivot. But we got it. We had a little snafu. We got it back right, and folks, let me ask you this: while you're still here, and this is beautiful. I want to be able to share this moment with you all. The receipts. We're going to continue to show these receipts moving forward. We're going to continue to show from the CBI, because this is what Goldilocks has always done, always. But since we had the Telegram room when we started in 2024, we've done the lives only in Telegram and did our screen sharing only in Telegram. But now that this is our third live stream, now we're going to bring it to you. And thanks to the Sniper and She-Hulk behind the scenes helping me to get over the last 2 weeks getting this ready for you all to do the screen share. But we're going to continue to do this, and this should make a big difference. Folks, I want you to comment on the difference. I want to see if there was a difference, what the difference was in being able to see the receipts, to see the articles, to see from the source directly. What difference did it make? Please share in the chat. I want to know. And I'm going to get some music started, because we're going to get out of here in a little bit. But I want you all to share if there was a difference. You're welcome, 333 Smith. Okay. Okay, Joel. You love reading. Okay. Thank you, beautiful Alice. Alice and Sam. All right. You're welcome, Stream Bean. Helps you to stay focused. Okay. And follow along. Okay. So thank you for that feedback, Nova Knickers, because that means, I'm sure everyone else, a lot of, so you're able to see it and then break it down to give more understanding, a better understanding. Thank you. You're welcome, Treat. Folks, and what I would love for you all to do, even especially if you're here now or you're listening to this on the replay, is to share this live. Huge difference. Okay, thanks, new babies. Screenshot. If you're watching this on replay, screenshot the articles. Share it with people. Share the love. Share the message. This is directly from the sources. Folks, there's no secrets. Everything is public information regarding the revaluation of currencies. It's all out there. You're welcome, Industrial Bay. Awesome. No, that's not me. That's not me, Vicky. I don't send no DMs about nothing. Okay, Sally, I am. Oh yeah, receipts are the visuals. I'm sorry, receipts are the articles directly from the sources. Okay, ER, that's good to know. Thanks for the feedback. Yes, indeed, Ty Too Pretty. All right, beautiful folks. I know it's late. When the music ends, we're going to say goodnight. And I apologize for the inconvenience of the technology, but it was out of our control. Okay, Mike, good to see. Good to know. Thank you, Tracy. That's right. Where we go one, we go. Oh, I love it. Okay, Kathy. Thank you for the feedback. This is our third live stream, Kathy Davila, so we're going to continue to improve. Thanks, Spark Plug. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Tulsa. From the UK. All right, Mike C. From the UK. Hey, it was very suspenseful, Nova Knickers. All right, folks. Oh, and thanks for the link. And if all works, thank you, Darren. Thank you, Jarrett Washington. Thank you, Sally. I am for forgiving me. All right, see you on the other side, Jess. All right, thanks. Next level. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, remember, we have the daily podcast, 10 to 20 minutes. I bring to you the audio format of Goldilocks' daily articles. And we'll be back with you next Saturday. Everyone, have a good night. We all love you. We appreciate you. Everyone, be kind, be well. Awesome. I'm glad you were able to appreciate it more, May Mama, one of our founding members. And we will see you all next bat time, next bat channel. Spread love like butter. I see you. Yes, Zach and the beautiful Amber. All right, Gerald. Good night, everyone. Be well. We love you. Ciao.